Welcome to WYCE and my best new friend over here, Marcus King. Good morning to you, my friend.
Hey, good morning, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing great. And you brought, for those of you who don't know, he brought Duck with him.
I did. I brought Duck with me, my emotional support dog. He's a Red Fox Lab, and he's about to be 2 years old and handsome as can be.
Well, he looks very peaceful over there. Nice, and he is riding with you on the bus?
Oh yeah, he's fully adjusted to my schedule, so it's still pretty early for old Duck here. And he lounges all day. He's just like his dad, but he also got a little wild side to him, so he's really a lot like his dad.
I can imagine that. Last night was probably a late night, right? You played in St. Louis?
We did, yeah. We played St. Louis at the pageant, and we love that venue, and we love the crowds in St. Louis. They're nothing like the crowds in Grand Rapids, though, I'll tell you that.
Well, you know, to each their own. If I remember, in 1968, we beat the Cardinals, the Tigers did, and won the World Series. So that's about all I know of St. Louis. However, I went to a game last year, and St. Louis is really a beautiful town. I could have spent a week there. But I understand you had that show streamed last night on Nugsnet.
We did.
Yeah, and they do a great job streaming.
That was our first show streaming with Nugs, so we're really happy to be partnering with them. Good folks.
Are more in store, hopefully?
Oh, yeah, man, big time.
Yeah, great. Well, you're traveling everywhere. Tonight you are at 20 Monroe. I do believe there are a scattering of tickets still available. Then you're off to Blossom, which is really an outside venue in Cleveland. And then from there, Chicago. And then, boy, you've got some great shows. One with Chris Stapleton coming up.
Oh, yeah.
And then you've got another show that I'd love to go to down in Texas. It's the Sippin' and Songs Review. And you're doing with Casey Ballerini and Maren Morris and our own Warren Treaty. We like to support Michigan music here. Oh, yeah. So I was excited to see those folks on the bill. And then, boy, you're off to Europe. You're playing all over in Spain, Portugal. I saw shows in the UK. And then after you get done with a few months in Europe, you're heading over to Australia. And I said, man, what a busy guy.
Yeah, we stay busy, that's for sure.
Now, what does your new wife think about all this? Does she travel with you, or is she back home?
Well, she's got her own business, so she's at home today. She's, kind of holding it down at the home front, She takes care of the Ponderosa, as it were. And she flies out to see me every now and again. I go out here and work, and she stays at home and works. She's one of the hardest working gals I've ever, been with or known personally. So, we're both just really proud of each other mutually. And when we do get time to spend together, it's really special.
Well, I know that teamwork makes the dream work, right?
So they say. Yeah.
That's what they say. And I got to tell you, the last time I saw you perform live, I didn't even have to hear you play one note. Just your presence and your hat was worth the price of admission. I got to tell you. And I knew I was in for a treat. And man, it was awesome. I love it when you dabble into some of your great guitar players, like the Allmans, right? And in fact, In Memory of Elizabeth Reed is sometimes on your set list. Mm-hmm. And, you can even throw in a Skynyrd song, right? Oh, yeah. Right? How cool is that?
Man, that early Leonard Skynyrd stuff was so rocking. And, I was really lucky to play with Gary Rosington and Skynyrd on Gary's last gig before he passed away at the Ryman Auditorium. And we taped that for PBS. But that was a really, really heavy night, man. That's always been one of my favorite groups.
The Ryman, you bring that up, where the Grand Ole Opry is, and I've actually been on that stage. Haven't played, but I've been on it, and it's just really something about it, right? It's just, you walk in and think of all the history that's been there, and that building is just iconic. But you say that the Grand Ole Opry band is like there's nothing better. Right? Those guys are the real deal.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
Well, I always like to play the Opry whenever I have the opportunity. And oftentimes it'll be something I do like the night I'm leaving for tour, because it's just such a comforting way to leave town. It feels like visiting Grandma and Grandpa's house, really, because I can feel the spirit of my grandfather there. And that band is just so, they're so good, you know, you don't have to really worry about them. You just go in and play your songs, and you know it feels like you're playing the backing tracks almost, because they're so locked in. And when I go in there, I try to, I like to open things up a little bit. So I'm like, we're going to play Delilah, and there's no pedal steel on Delilah, but I want you to find a part, So I kind of like throw them some new stuff, and they love it when I come, because I'm more unpredictable than the rest of the folks rolling through there. But I love going to the Opry. It's a great way to start the tour off.
Well, there's nothing better, like you say. Your favorite instrument, of course, is that lap pedal steel.
Yeah.
And I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's just a beautiful way to, I think, marriage genres together with a lap pedal steel. And then you mentioned your grandfather and your father. I mean, you started at such a young age. I mean, you picked up a guitar when you were 8, and by 11, you had already done some recordings with your dad. I mean, who can say that, right?
It's a blessing, man. It really is. It was always around. I started fiddling with it when I was like 2 or 3. It was one of my first memories. So it's just another way for me to express myself,
Well, you do it in such an elegant way, and you look like you're about ready to express yourself right here. You brought in a beautiful guitar. Would you love to showcase a tune for our listeners?
Sure. Let's see, what should we do here?
Well, you're listening to WYCE, and we're about ready for a beautiful treat from Marcus King.
It's a fun number right here. I wrote with Greg Cartwright and Dan Auerbach. It goes like this. Your soft green eyes never told me any lies, but your lips have turned me round a time or two. Tried to prove that you were wrong, but you told me all along that you weren't looking for a hero. You done your time with figures made of stone. Let you run wild. I see you smile. It's all I need. I let you run wild. No, that's your style. It's all I need. In your hometown, everybody let you down. Never understand a girl like you. You kept them all in shock, couldn't fit you in their box, and you weren't looking for a hero. You done your time, castles made of sand, and I let you run. See you smile, it's all I need. I let you run wild. Oh, that's your style. Something to see. It's clear to me that you weren't looking for a hero when you found me.
Yeah, nice stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I love it when you play a couple of covers, and I love the fact that you're playing "Good Time, Charlie, Love the Blues."
Yeah.
One of my favorite old covers from. I'm trying to remember when that was written. It's been out for a while.
I think the first time I heard it was the Danny O'Keefe version.
Yeah.
There's a great deal of flute on that. Made me think of our late great buddy Kofi Burbridge, who played with Derek and Susan. And yeah, it just was a really moving song. I know Dwight Yoakam did a great version of it. A lot of folks covered that one, but it's a great song.
It is, and I hadn't heard it until the other day, and I went, oh yeah, forgot about this. Right, it's like Billy Joe McAllister jumping off the Tallahatchie Bridge, right? Yeah. I saw John Popper and Natalie Merchant sing that together, and it was like, wow. Certain songs with certain people, but you do a really good version of that. Watched that the other day, and I went, wow, yeah, that's a great tune. Thanks. Kudos to that.
Thank you, man.
And kudos on your recent marriage.
Oh, wow, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Last February we got married. It was a great big party in Nashville.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Sorry I couldn't make it, yeah. But and then at your latest album, it's got so much soul. Your first couple albums, you kind of introduced a little bit of that, but I think it really resonates with your latest album, the amount of soul that's actually in there. A couple of tunes, Me in Tennessee, I felt like I was at church. I love Delilah.
Thank you.
And it's just a beautiful record.
Well, I really appreciate that, man. We did this record with the great Rick Rubin, and he was really involved in this project, which it meant a lot to me because I know he's he's not always this intimately involved with a project. And I went out to his place in Tuscany, and we spent 14 days, like 12 hours a day, working tirelessly on, if you've read his book, which I'd recommend, it's called The Creative Act. He likes to take all the songs once we've had them, and then we deconstructed them down to just the atoms, and down to just, structurally what needs to be here for the song to exist. And if we enjoy it like that, then we could start adding things in that are favorable to the ear. And in doing that, we came back with a really honest record. But the whole process was like 2.5 years because, he really pushed me to write until it was all just honest. I had to kind of shake off that idea of writing for the audience, and I had to write for myself. Sorry to be long-winded this morning.
No, he for those of you that don't know Rubin, he one of the co-founders of Def Jam Records, and he has an unorthodox style. He claims to not know anything about technical stuff. He doesn't know how to run a soundboard, but yet, if you look at his bio of the people that he's produced, from the Dixie Chicks to Brandy Carlisle to Johnny Cash to Tom Petty, yourself, you go, I guess he's got a good ear, right?
I've looked at him as like the ambassador of music for the human race.
Okay.
Because he's just got this, unstudied and unrefined, perception of music, and he's a fan first and foremost. And, the way that he talks about Springsteen or McCartney, the reverence that he has for those guys is still like he's like 16 years old, which is really moving because he's, in my opinion, he's up there with them as far as like being as prolific as he is, but he still has such a whimsical nature about music.
That's a good way to put it because, like I said, he claims to not be tech savvy. So he's got to rely on his ears, and you can get so technical into music that you lose that I like the mojo, right? And
well, I know Edgar Winter and Johnny Winter are a fine example of that. Edgar Winter was pretty prolific as far as his abilities, and Johnny Winter, almost like governed himself. He didn't want to learn any more than what Edgar had showed him initially because he didn't want to lose the honesty in his like bluesman sound. He wanted to sound like Muddy Waters. So it's an interesting way to think about it, right?
Sure.
You don't want to like hold yourself back, but there's something beautiful about wanting to remain honest, I guess.
Well, people go to your shows because as you sing about it in Autumn Rains, right? Autumn Rains wash, just create that beautiful sound and wash away my pain, right?
Yeah.
I fully get that. And the beautiful thing that you're actually providing with your shows right now is the sobriety spots that you've created, which I thought, man, that's such a great thing. It harkens back to Anders Osborne's musician's friend. As a musician, you show up at a club or a venue, and you're there to do a sound check at 3, 4 in the afternoon. What do you do after 5 o'clock? Your show's not on till 9. You sit around and you start drinking. Yeah. Well, Anders Osborne created this musician's friend where you can call and somebody would love to come in and take you away from that environment. And I thought, man, that's a great thing that you're trying to provide, because not everybody wants to go to the show and be like subjected to, I've got to knock them back like candy, right? And that's beautiful.
Well, it's really neat what 1 Million Strong's doing and the Phoenix, and I was really into it, man. They're just providing it's like a VIP area in the show, and the only entry fee is just, it's a sober space. So I mean, it's just an opportunity for people to come in and sit and just listen to the show without having to just be surrounded by it. Because I know with my sobriety, it's always it seems like, I'll be on a flight to Jazz Fest and the couple in front of me is trying to give me drugs through the seat, or I'm the other day I was working out and this guy saw me and was like, man, I just got some great moonshine from Popcorn Sutton's farm down in Kentucky. I'm like, I'll give it to the boys. It's like, it seems like when you're trying your hardest, it just rains out of nowhere. And it's great to create a space for folks like us who are susceptible to temptation. I mean, it's just a humanistic.
Well, it's so easy to come by now. I mean, back in my day, we had good, bad, and no thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
The 70s is different now than what's available out there. But you're right. The temptation is all around us.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite groups growing up, the Temptations, I should have known then, man.
Yeah, well, Motown is pretty near and dear to my heart. Grew up in Detroit. So,
yeah, you get it.
Yeah, I sometimes I do, I'm still learning.
Hey, we all, man, that's the way to be, always learning.
There's two sides to every story, and until you've walked a mile in somebody's shoes, it's really, really hard to judge, and I think the world would be so much better off if we were a little bit more humble and kind. And would you love to grace our listeners with another tune, or?
Absolutely. This is the lead single right now, and this is an interesting song because I wrote this 6 years ago with a fella named Gabe Lee in Nashville, and it's a song that it just felt like it just kind of fell out of us, and I didn't really have a place to put it. I didn't have a record where it felt true and honest, and it seemed like I needed to go out and live it, and then I could record it, and that's what happened. I went out and lived the story that we wrote about, and then I felt okay with recording it. So it goes like this. Let's see. When I first met you, didn't know a damn thing. I just set out to try to find my way. Didn't have nobody, just a set of wheels and a whole lot of time to kill. I'll be rolling on a southern wind, cold and weather, the grip of the storm. I get back home before the dawn. Oh, my Delilah, met you, didn't want a dang thing. I just set out to try to find my way. I never saw it coming, and then it struck me blind. I thought of ever leaving you behind. I'll be rolling on a southern wind, cold and weathered in the grip of the storm. Please leave your light on in case I get back home before the dawn. Oh, my Delilah, don't you miss me when I go? Soon I'll be riding, trying to find my way back home. Trying to find my way back home.
Very nice. Marcus King and the track entitled Delilah from his most recent Mood Swings, out on tour and in town tonight at GLC Live. Should be a great show. We hope to see you out there, right?
Yeah, man, we can't wait. We got JJ Wild opening up the show. Great group. I've been saying that they're from Ontario, Tennessee, because they got a little Nashville, a little Ontario. Great Canadian rock group. Just really gets the crowd whipped up into a frenzy, and we're having a wonderful time out here on the road. So come on out and see our great big show.
So anything you can kind of let our listeners know about for tonight's show?
Yeah, I mean, no dress code, as far as I know. I can say, doors open at 7, and the show starts at 8 o'clock with JJ and her guys. We go on about 9:15, I believe, and it's just going to be a great big time. We're going to play some old, some new. We're going to play a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's just a great big time. We got a great big old 9-piece band for you. It's going to be great.
Should be awesome. So you've got both kinds, country and western, right?
Yes, we do, yeah.
Well, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate you taking it out of your busy schedule. And it's been just a pleasure having you. Hope the show tonight is rocking as it was last night. And there's only a few seats available. Looked a little while ago. So awesome to that. It's a great venue. Should be a lot of fun.